bimbling will commence soon, but we will see if I get anybody watching me anytime soon as I attempt to make your view a bit better. There we go, that's a bit better. That's too low. Yeah, that'll do. Right. Oh, I've got somebody watching me. Hello. Feel free to chat, I will respond. I'm just getting myself set up because I am lacking a tabby today. So my setup is not quite as organised as she makes me look. Why am I lacking a tabby? She's in isolation over at my Metamor's house. My thoughts on that to come. Now we are back to needing exciting things like lists because there's a whole load of things that I'm baking today. My mum is quite excited by the prospect of coconut macaroons. I am hoping I can live up to her memory. Apparently they were the first things she ever cooked. So, yay! Mum, hi, are these biscuits as good as the ones you made when you were preschool age with your neighbour who let you put glacé cherries in? Almost certainly not. I'm competing with, 60, 70 years of memory fondness? I think I'm pretty much screwed, to be honest. Okay. However, there's a lot going on today with the bakes. Hopefully the special bake will look as good as I want it to, but we will find out. Right. Like I said, there's a lot going on today. So I'm making a whole heap of cupcakes. I really rather enjoyed the whatchamacallit, brain. I do have one. I rather enjoyed the angel food cupcakes last session, so I will be making a number of them. Just because they're good fun to make, really. And I like the fact that I started off this series of bakes essentially chanting 442 at you all over and over again. You enjoyed that, right? Actually, no, Fiona, you said you did. Assuming you might watch later, so I'm talking to you as if you're there. Yeah. Somebody said that they tuned in, but they last month they didn't want to stick around because there wasn't enough people in the chat stream. Which, yeah, makes sense because I get very boring when I've not got you guys to bounce off with nothing. Anyway, they said that actually they did quite enjoy me bimbling around the kitchen. No, they weren't Sammy. This is somebody totally different. Would I think about making like an edited video and uploading it? I'll think about it. I don't know. I have an awful lot of stuff that I tend to do, so I might bimble around the kitchen, sort of go, okay, here's the live version, and then do like a not live version, like an edited, polished version, and put it up later. So I might do that. Let me know if you'd like it. Mostly, I've been doing these Mish Bimbles around a kitchen because it's been lockdown and nobody's been socialising with people. And I think one of the reasons we didn't get anybody last month, or like we got a few people watching, but it was all very fleeting. Was just because people have actual things to do and social lives now so it's not just that immediate, oh god, I'm on my own, what is there to watch? Mish is bimbling around the kitchen and cooking, I'll watch that for hours, which is definitely good. Right, so what have we got going on here? We have got me making a tea loaf, and then later I'll be making a chocolate fruit cake, because that goes down quite well. I'm not actually making these yet, I'm simply soaking the fruit. So I've made tea in this bowl here and shoved some fruit in, which I should have done last night, but I got knackered and ended up playing far too much Magic the Gathering and forgot. However, given how long it takes, what I will probably end up doing is soaking the fruit whilst I'm nattering to you lot, and then baking the tea loaf this evening after you've all gone and left me. Very simple tea loaves. They went down quite well. Last time I made my mum a tea loaf, what I do is I put chunks of frozen meringue in. Not meringue. Chunks of frozen marzipan. Chunks of frozen meringue might work though. And people enjoyed them. I got to do 2 different variants of tea loaf. Tea loaf is wonderfully easy to make it look like you've completely varied it, and oh my god, how amazing are you? And literally, you just put more tea or less tea in it. I like my tea loaf so it looks like a bread. I'm just chopping up some glacé cherries to make it look fancy. So I just put some tea in it. And I'm looking at that now and sort of going, well, I'll put a bit more in. Because apparently, people who aren't me like it looking like a cake. So just make more tea, more liquid. And then if the fruit soaks up like loads of the liquid, it's going to look more like I think of it like a bread, slightly drier tea loaf. I'm making it with Earl Grey because I'm aiming these tea loaves. Once again, we've had a donation for Sands from people far away who have gone, yes, don't bother posting me a thing. Just send it to people. So I'm aiming this at a friend who I know likes his tea. So I'm hoping will like a tea loaf. I'm hoping doesn't perceive this as some sort of gift, because said friend is allergic to gifts. And like my love language is completely things and gifts. So I find it really difficult when someone's like, don't give me a gift. I find it terrifying and I react badly. I'm like, but how I say I like you, how this work? Me no. And I, as evidenced, completely revert to a child. You going to say hi, random viewer? I have no idea who you are. Feel free to add on the chat. I can see the chat. I will respond. If you just want to let me burble, then frankly, it's going to happen no matter what you do. So may as well just let me burble. Right, okay. Until I get tired, in which case I start shutting up. I think it's Danny who told me that after watching this one. Right, okay. So, they're the tea loaves prepped. Or the bit of prep I need to do. I am now going to consult the list. List being quite important. Right, okay. So, as ever, we are going to start with the gluten-free stuff, which is going to be quite easy to start with. Then we progress to the dairy-free stuff. The special bake is gluten-free this time round. And I'm getting out my wonderful rabbit mould again. Not the one for the three-dimensional one. This is the one back from the bake right at the beginning. This one. Because it's quite cute, relatively easy to do, and I'm confident about doing gluten-free. Thought about the gluten-free mould, doing a gluten-free bake in the mould, and I am not totally convinced, so we'll leave this as is. And I'm going to do blueberry cupcakes to start off with. She looks around for her blueberries and realises they are probably still with the shopping. So yeah, we've got lots of berries this time round. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. And we've only got, disappointing to my sister, 24 eggs. So there we go. 24 eggs. Right, okay. This is the part where I start shouting 442 a lot. So we're going to make one tray of gluten-free blueberry cupcakes. How do I make cupcakes? Right, we're doing my normal Vicky sponge method. Nothing exciting yet. We will get exciting later. I got a note posted to my door, which I was completely bemused by earlier. It appeared out of nowhere. And it said, please can has. Black Forest Gatto cupcakes. And I was like, oh, that's new and different. Yeah, all right, go on then. So that's what I will be making later. Okay, 224. What am I even doing? So it's a 4. 442. I do know what I'm doing. Okay. So we've got some lacto-free. There we go. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, have I actually got enough butter and sugar and whatnot? Oh, I probably do actually. Yeah, okay. I'm just going slightly mad because I've got less than last time, but I'm not actually doing as many bakes as last time. I just think I am. Right, so we've got 4 of those. Put this in an easier spot to get hold of. And we've got 4 of these. And of course, it will relieve you to know that I have a electric whisk thing again, which is quite nice. And I'm just gonna okay, so we've got 4 of sugar, 4 of butter, or fat in this case. Not that it's butter. Oh, there we go. And yeah, no, it was really weird. Somebody asked me, oh, do you get a lot of people who don't know you on the stream? I'm like, it's not that sort of stream. And I need to possibly find a way of saying this that isn't I'm streaming, because yes, technically I sort of am, but that seems to imply video games. I'm just showing up random talking videos on YouTube because people said that it was nice for them during the pandemic. And I'm like, I'm not really streaming. I'm just talking to people in my kitchen with the video camera on. I don't know. And it was like somebody, the person who asked me, do you get people who aren't your friends? I'm like, well, yeah, occasionally, but they're mostly lost, I think. Or they followed the Bake for Sans hashtag, which I think I forgot to put on this video. Which is fine. There's a donation link in the chat, by the way. Oh, we've got somebody else watching. Hello. I'm going to guess you might be Sammy, because she normally joins about this time, so hi Sammy if that's you. Turn down the speed. This is the problem with the electric thing. It's a bit weird. I'm not used to it, and it just goes everywhere really. So let's do some forking things. And how that works. Although, to be honest, it's all mixed now. Is it all mixed, or have I just... Yeah, there's not actually enough sugar on the floor to say that it all went there, so there's some lumps of sugar, which I can batter in here. But yeah, it's like, I'm not doing it in a way that, like, some of my friends are proper Twitch streamers. Like, they do Let's Plays and things. And, you know, certainly when they start out, it's mostly fellow gamers and friends. But then the aim there seems to be to, like, make a name for yourself because it's a known thing that you're doing. I do not intend to become famous for my YouTube baking videos, but I don't really intend to do anything with them other than shove them out there, and if it helps you get to sleep or hang out on a boring Saturday afternoon, go for it. And I don't really know a way of expressing that. Like, it's just, oh, hello, Paul. You're not Sammy, you're somebody totally different. Oh. But anyway, as I was saying, it's just for random hanging out. It's not for, like, I don't know. It's not for, like, saying things that are important and need a wider audience. It's like, because, you know, despite Fiona in month 2 saying, apparently I've taught Fiona how to make cakes, or the different, no, I think she's saying she'd never known the difference between different kinds of sponge before. I was like, that's great. But, like, that's what you'd get if you were hanging out with me in the kitchen and I was musing about the nature of Victoria sponge. Why have I gone back to using manual when I've got an electric one? There we go. Okay, so I'm shrieking 442 as ever because I'm doing these cupcakes the traditional Victoria sponge manner. And these are my blueberry cupcakes, gluten-free blueberry cupcakes. So partly yours, Paul. Go 442. So 4 ounces of flour. There we go. Now I know why I started mixing it in. It's because if it's too dusty, the electric just flicks it up into the air. She says, proceeding to flick the flour up into the air. Because obviously. Right, okay, so that's got most of the sort of dryness in without a face full of flour. Let's finish it off. I really am jealous of my sister's KitchenAid. because she has a lid on her KitchenAid. It means that if it sits up, it doesn't then go everywhere. Right, okay, so we've got that. 442. So now we shove some blueberries in. And then I'll probably do something with blueberries for the icing and stuff. Right. But we will see. I want to make sure there's a whole load of blueberries in, because these are going to be like little cupcakes. And I don't want to end up with the mix of like there's one sad little blueberry in one and a dozen blueberries in the other. So let's get plenty of blueberries in there. There we go. I can't remember why I chose fruit for this theme, but I did. I think it was interesting. Like, I've really enjoyed for this series of bakes sort of going, alright, rather than just do the same for everything, what if I did things to encourage me to do things differently? And yeah, it's been rather good fun, like I said. I really enjoyed the angel food cupcakes and friggin' learning how to do madeleines. Just like, oh wow, that's a thing that I know how to do now. No madeleines, I'm afraid, this month. I could possibly have done them, but I thought I'd rather do the angel food ones because I was just having a good time with them, really. I liked the sort of egginess of them, I think. So, yeah. I'm now regretting not doing madeleines, obviously. I'm not bothering to colour coordinate, which might come bite me in the ass later. But we'll see. I want everything bright and lovely, and you know, it could be because it's June and I'm just like, it's Pride Month. Everything is Pride, bright colours, our right to exist. There was a PCSO officer at the door earlier, and getting me to sign up to some community online thing. Keep my neighbours complaining about teenagers. And I was like, it was a bit weird actually, that, because I'm talking to the PCSO on my doorway and he's trying to get me to sign up to this thing. And there's a series of questions which I'm like, oh, I've got nothing better to do. Well, I actually did. I should have been setting up for this. Anyway, he's going like, is there any complaints? Anything you don't like about living in the area? What do you like about living in the area? You know. Anyway, my opposite the road neighbour, who I think I've spoken to like maybe twice, because parcels. Not the one whose car I or somebody apparently scraped. Totally different one. Anyway, sort of interrupts and says something very pointedly about teenagers and vandalism and ASBOs and that sort of thing. And it was pointed, and I was like, you cannot possibly think I'm a teenager. I mean, obviously I have, you know, a Korean beauty regime, so my skin's just gorgeous. I'm like, the fuck is the pointedness thing? And the only thing I can think of is he thinks I'm the mother of teenagers. Which is really weird, because I always assume, given that we are in between two student houses, that the rest of our neighbours think we're students. No, apparently, Mr. Over the Road is gone in my mouth. First time this session, though. Mr. Over the Road must assume I've got kids. I'm like, no idea what's giving him that impression. unless some of the things I have in my car, are for children. And I mean, they are, but they're for really young children, because my nephew's not the sort of thing that you'd have with the teenagers he was pointedly complaining at. Unless he was pointedly complaining at the PCSO. He didn't seem to be. I mean, that could just be random anxiety manifesting as he must have been pointing his passive aggression at me. But he did seem to be, rather than like the PCSO. Anyway, apparently some bicycles have been stolen in sheds nearby. There you go. Fascinating, the life of a suburban woman. Or urban, I'm not sure. I suppose we are urban, really. I mean, it's Lancaster. It claims to be a city. Historically, it's a city. It's not exactly a city. It's not crowded. Right, okay, so that's my gluten-free, and I consult the book, that's my gluten-free blueberries. So then I've got gluten-free raspberries and gluten-free lemon and strawberry. So I'm going to do gluten-free raspberries because that's, again, basically just what I've done. But instead of adding blueberries, guess what? Add raspberries. Okay. So again, with my chance of 442. Chant until the cows come home. 442. Yeah, Tabby is isolating over at Lee's place. She was over there when she got the news, and then it just makes it easier for my job if she doesn't come home. And I miss her. Oh, actually, that could be. Go on, love. Are you watching? You could be one of the 3 people still. You might be. I can see you wanting me to have a chunter on in the background. Or am I in denial? Maybe she is really enjoying the peace and quiet of living with Lee for 9 days. She's got to isolate for like almost the full 10 days, so I'm kind of impressed with the test and trace people grabbing her that early on after exposure, or potential exposure, or whatever. It's really weird though, because like, as my sister was pointing out, I've not been asked to isolate, and touch wood. I could do with not. But obviously I've been out and about, not quite throughout the pandemic, but basically just because, like, it's not really possible to be a support worker and work from home. Tabby's been working from home, and a lot of people I know have been. And she's not really gone anywhere because she takes the pandemic seriously, as do I. It's just, like I said, I can't work from home. So I do all the things like wear masks and wash my hands obsessively and keep 2 meters and stuff. Yeah, so that's a thing. She had to have her first LFT test the other day. Both my nephews have had tests for COVID, like proper swabbing the back of your throat, up your nose tests, and they're under 4. Like, both of them. Oh, I'm in awe that they did it. But I mean, I suppose if you've got your parents saying you have to do this thing, yeah, we know it's nasty, but it's important, then you've not really got a recourse to say no. It's like, oh yeah, these people are making me do this. And then I suppose, I mean, Frederick threw a little tantrum yesterday about his dad eating the end of his ice cream, despite the fact he sort of agreed to share it. But yeah, I suppose you could throw a tantrum, but they didn't. They've done the thing. Anyway, it was Tabby's first time sticking swabs up her nose. Negative. I, of course, have ordered a PCR test, which I've done and sent off today. So that was what I spent my morning doing. My LFTs have all been negative, but I don't really want to give COVID to anybody, so I may as well do a proper one. Right. And LFTs are not brilliantly accurate, but I'm mostly doing LFTs circularly just because it's regulation for getting in and out of care homes. God, weird conversation with my therapist, who I have this horrible feeling she might be a vaccine denier or COVID denier, anti-vaxxer, maybe, I don't know. But weird conversation was basically that she wanted to know if I was big into rules. I'm like, well, not really. And she's like, oh, really? Because you were very keen on following the COVID rules when we first met. Didn't tell me we met in person. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't mean I'm into rules. That means I'm into not passing illnesses on to vulnerable people who I work with. And she, I don't know, the PCSO earlier was asking me why I hadn't been on a train in almost 2 years. And I'm like, because of the pandemic. And he was like, oh yeah, it's legal. And I'm like, well, okay, but this is what I do for a job. I don't really care if it's legal so much as, do I need to do this? Or can I avoid this risk altogether? Yeah, it was very weird. What was the ew for, Paul? I missed when you typed that. Is that tabby and nose swabbing? Was that an awe? There's an E in there. It's like, is that awe over my nephews having to do it? Or is that an ew over the very fact that it is disgusting? Right, okay, 442. So we've got 4 butter, 4 sugar, 2 eggs. That's the next thing. Yeah. Moss donated today. They have benefited in past months from, I think, people donating cupcakes to people who deserve them. And Moss was hilarious because they were like, oh yeah, you don't need to go lacto-free because Moss's partner Jade is lactose intolerant. And I'm sort of looking at it because I have fed Jade a number of times, and oh yeah, no, I really miss Tabby. Like, I dislike living without her. I have to do it for 9 days. It sucks. Anyway, yes. Where was I? I was talking about something. I was distracting myself. Oh yeah, Jade. Jade, like every bloody lactose intolerant person I know, will go, oh, if I just take lactose, or if I forget my lactose, it doesn't really matter. I'll just eat the delicious thing with no thought to my gut health whatsoever. I mean, to be honest, I have been known to eat hazelnut creams, which is actually more dangerous because I'm like allergic to nuts. But anyway, we'll pass swiftly over that. Anyway, I've been known to post memes on Jade's Facebook saying things like, fucking lactose intolerant people, stop eating the milk. I paraphrase, of course, it was funnier. Well, I thought it was anyway. But yeah, so Moss posts, oh, it doesn't need to be lactose free, and I'm like, yeah, bloody go. So the amount of bakes that I've done in this sequence of bakes, which are gluten free, lactose free, blah 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 blah, and it's like, it is easy enough for me to do lactose free because why would I not? You know, I'm essentially doing it anyway. Right, so these are raspberries. Because I bought them from Spar, I'm just making sure that you just get the little nice sweet ones in here, rather than the big chunky ones, which will end up in a more solid cake form later on. Well, maybe, if I have any left over. I'm just looking at the amount, and like I said, with the blueberries, maybe I should have chopped these up, she says, midway through. Fuck it. Okay. Let's do some chopping. Delicious raspberry flavour. Spread it out over multiple cupcakes. Yeah. And then we'll get on to the special bake, which is not Paul's by 9 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that. Sorry, Paul. That was bizarre. In fact, there's a speed race to who can get this first. Oops. Gareth and Lou went out. I was like, yeah. It depends why you watch. Sorry, my brain is skipping around a great deal. Depends why you watch YouTube videos, I suppose. And most people I know like to have them on in the background. So they're just somebody muttering away. And if you like their chutter, you keep them on. Which is largely what I see this as. Whereas if you're actually trying to do a thing, get recognition for a thing, or say something important, then you go for faster, shorter. That's what I mean, not necessarily faster, although I suppose I'm thinking about video games, so faster. Shorter videos to get an audience. And because there's slightly less berries in this one, I'll do something that I didn't do with the blueberries. So I'm going to shove a little bit of vanilla essence in there, just to bring out the flavours. Although it's spreading out a bit, so I'm hoping that'll do that. What's going to happen with that, would bring out the flavours, I mean, in the next batch of gluten-free that I'm doing, is hopefully the lemon is going to bring out the fruity flavours. Yeah, anyway, I'm not aiming to say anything particularly meaningful with these. I am aiming to be a nice little background chatter, which if you find my mumbling presence soothing, you'll enjoy. And if you don't, you don't. Which is why I'm sort of wondering about putting up the edited video, or an edited video, so that there's a specific, rather than 2 hours of Mitch bimbling around a kitchen, half an hour of Mish not necessarily doing exactly stream of consciousness, whatever pops into her head, but a slightly more coherent video. But then, I don't know, I'm not sure whether there's much point to it. Like I said, this was born out of me mostly putting my live videos up on YouTube during the pandemic, but having people go, "Oh, thank fuck you're a person," and I can watch. 7 minutes. Yeah, Gareth really did pip you to the post. It was quite like, it was great because I got both notifications for the Sans website straight off, and I because obviously I got the notification of who had donated first. When I scrolled down my email feed, I came across Paul's first. So I was like, "Oh, Paul finally got the special bag. Great, excellent." Oh, no, he didn't, Karen. Yeah, you were running the meeting. It was a bit mean for me to announce it in the meeting. But to be fair, I wasn't expecting the mad rush. That didn't happen the previous months. The previous months, it happened the next day. So, hey, it's all good. Right, anyway. I'm really chuffed. You guys have raised over £500 for Sans. I've just realised I'm not actually wearing my Sans t-shirt, which I normally do, so you can admire the back of my my head. So just 1 second whilst I do the charity thing. Right, there we go. That way, when I'm wandering around, if anybody randomly stumbles across, although I think I forgot the hashtag on this video. Yeah, no, I was doing it fairly, but yes. Anyway, yes, if anybody stumbles across, they know that we're raising money for the Sans charity for stillbirth and neonatal death. And unlike when I'm doing charity bakes for Alzheimer's or anything, when it comes to Sans, I don't generally talk about the charity during the baking process. Just because you can be funny or touching or whatever with Alzheimer's, which is the other charity video bake that I've done previously. And also I feel more qualified to talk about it. With Sans, you just can't be funny. It's a real downer. And I think part of the thing is, okay, let's do something fun to just not think about the awful thing that's happened to us, you know. So yes, I've got my little charity t-shirt on when I remember it. And you can remember that you are donating to a very good cause. And hopefully you are enjoying the Mish stream of consciousness. But there's not the sort of, I will educate you about this thing that I can get into with especially the Alzheimer's charities, and the blood cancer one is the other one I did. Just because there are other people doing that and doing that better. And you wanted to watch me bimble around a kitchen and talk in a vaguely stream of consciousness manner. So, yes. Now we've had our, downer for the hour. And our serious chat of remember what we're doing here. There we go. I will get on with my industrial production of cake. We're doing some biscuits this time around. No gluten-free biscuits, I'm afraid, guys. And there'll be some pies later on. What else have we got? I think it's cakes, biscuits, pies. Pies that's going to end up as a chipumple, which is a signature move of mine. I suppose I do have some signature bakes, really. Most of which I can straighten them out. I can make gluten-free versions of most of them. Not always. Sometimes gluten-free is easier than others. And it's not always obvious what is going to be nice and easy to make gluten-free. Because it's just a case of I will put Dove's Farm gluten-free flour in instead of normal flour. And what's just not going to take it because the actual cake recipe itself relies on something else to rise. It's usually if you're using plain flour in a recipe and you're doing something funky with the eggs. And again, straight in the mouth. Okay, I've returned to form, guys. I thought I was being so restrained. But it's not always easy to predict. Like that one's quite a nice, oh yes, that's clearly how this is going to work. And then, it gets a little different for each recipe because of, I don't know, cake-based nuance or something. Right, okay, what have we got now? We've got our third gluten-free bake as we head towards special bake territory. Okay, we are going to do basically a lemon drizzle cake with strawberries in. Yes. This is what we are doing. Okay, so we've got that. We're going to do our 442 chant any second now. We are going to note that I am somehow going to run out of dairy-free Marge. I'm not sure how that's happened. Unless when I went to pick up the shopping, I didn't actually pick up all of the Marge because this is a problem with Tabby being isolated. All my shopping, because we do a big shop as a bubble together, and our bubble is 2 households. Me and my lovely girlfriend Tabby, and then the other household, Lee and his lovely boyfriend Tab. Lovely boyfriend? Lee and his lovely girlfriend Tabby, who is the same Tabby as my girlfriend. Polyamory for the win, spread across 2 households. So we do one shop, but it is entirely possible that the dairy-free Marge that I ordered is still in Lee's fridge. We will find out, I'm sure. So I put the butter down somewhere. There we go. But at least I know that is in the kitchen, so we're good. All right. Okay, so I'm quite glad this is the last dairy-free bake. I've got I'm not doing icing for all of these because Lou does not appreciate icing. But I've got some funky lacto-free cream cheese stuff. that I'm going to mess around with icing with. I'm going to do some drizzles, which is quite good. Right, okay, so rather than 442, we are doing 663, which is the same ratio for those of you who can do maths. Okay, and I still need sugar. Oh, yes. So, yeah, 663, and this one is going to be hella lemony and hella strawberry. And will eventually form the shape of a rabbit, bound together with lemon drizzle. If you were watching the first of these, then it's the same pink rabbit mold that I made the chocolate brownie out of. But yeah, rather than binding together with icing, it will be bound together with drizzle and placed berries for eyes and whatnot, because that's the special bake this month. But yeah, I think the main thing that I've enjoyed about doing this series of bakes is the fact that my sponge cake repertoire has definitely increased. Madeleines, can't quite do in my sleep, but yeah, can do. Angel food, I need some practice on, but I will get that in a little while, actually. Once we progress on to glutinous, we are moving towards angel food. And then we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to doing the Black Forest Gâteau one. I quite like that. I used to be an absolute fiend for Black Forest Gâteau as a kid. Apparently, one thing that I totally forgot I used to do in secondary school, I was obsessed with making Black Forest Gâteau for my English class, just because we could do it and nobody complained, and it was a nice thing. Anyway, in fact, it started out me making cake for my English class, but the girl I had the biggest fucking crush on was in the English class. So her birthday rolls around. I don't just make cake, I make this Black Forest fucking this cake. It was a bit intense. She had a boyfriend. Bitch is a lesbian now. I mean, looking back, I was a weird fucking teenager. I do not blame her for having a beard. Nor am I implying she only had a beard for me. I really hope she didn't. Oh, Christ. Richard, please be my boyfriend so Mish won't go anywhere near me. I really, really hope that wasn't the conversation. I don't think it was. I have no idea if she knew she was gay or if she, in fact she is bi. Yeah, in any case, they had this massive long-term relationship throughout school. So I was like, oh, she is the hottest woman ever. Oh my god. So I'm having this whole crisis of sexuality about her, who possibly doesn't really know I exist apart from I've got this weird chick in my English class who keeps staring at me. And yeah. I made this Black Forest Gâteau. As some sort of unheard declaration of, I think you're amazing, I can never say you're amazing because you have blood pressure. But yeah, I did that. Actually, that gets funnier with hindsight. I think it was fucking living it as a teenager was just like, I am in 7 kinds of agony. This is the worst hell known to man. But anyway, so I'll continue telling you about the tribulations of teenage Mish. So anyway, I go way over the top this woman's birthday. And then I can't remember whether it was the next month or like a week later or whatever. I had a girl in my class had the same birthday as a guy I did crush on. A guy I did go out with. And it was very weird. Because I was struggling, to say the least, with depression and probably the beginning of anxiety. And I spent my 6th form being not very well, to be honest, because I had glandular fever and a really bad infection, and just bad infection that ended me in hospital in my 6th form. Anyway, so all this is happening, and this guy who I had dated, who was going out with some girl who I didn't really know from Adam, but he was convinced I hated this girl, and I was like, it was really weird because I remember being vaguely annoyed that he was in a relationship with somebody else and hadn't just taken them to Spice World and could the movie. That was our first date. And I wasn't really in a position where I could date people, and also I was gay, and anyway, he'd found my diary, where I was basically desperately crying for attention with this diary, and would write about how much I hated myself in it. So cue him finding this, but I don't think I'd put pronouns down. Like, I don't think I'd put I hate myself. I think I'd written about like calling myself bitch or something. Anyway, he found this diary because obviously I took it to school in my bag. In my defence, anyway, and he was like, "Oh, why are you writing this stuff about my girlfriend? Oh, you must be really jealous." I did not help my case, incidentally, because one of my friends in my art class did really hate her, and it amused her when I was talking shit about this new girlfriend, and so she convinced me to put a picture up on the dartboard. And of course, I can't throw darts to save my life. So all my friends are going, "Oh, hey Mish, let me throw darts at this woman for you." And I'm like, okay, people seem to be having a good time. I'm not objecting. I don't particularly hate this woman. I don't really feel any kind of way about her. I got into so much trouble over that because people were like, "Oh, Mish is throwing darts at you and clearly, has some weird vendetta against you." So I'm like, no, not really. So anyway, I'm doing this thing. I'm trying to make girls I know laugh, and getting into trouble for clearly having some weird vendetta against his new girlfriend. He comes storming in after I bake this over-the-top cake for the girl I crush on. And he's like, "You can't bake me a cake for my birthday." And it comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh yeah, obviously I should be thinking about doing that because you're my ex, and I like baking cakes for people that I'm in love with. And I, hadn't even considered it because I was getting over him, to be honest. So his birthday was on the same day, or the day before. No, I think it was the day after, day before. Oh, it was sitting very close to a girl in my English class. One that I didn't fancy, incidentally. Anyway, I put her cake in the sixth form fridge. And it's clearly one of my cakes. I put it in on his birthday. Because I am some sort of weird ass troll who likes reactions. And I got dragged, not the head of sixth form because he likes me, but like the secondary head of sixth form, the sort of deputy head of sixth form, who's like, oh, he'd already spoken to me about me throwing darts at this picture of this girl. Yeah. No, I put the darts up, mate. I put the picture up, sure, to make a girl laugh. Can you see a theme here? And then let my friend throw darts at her. It wasn't really that bothered. Just possibly not great. Like, okay, there's weird and then there's the fuck. Anyway, so he drags me and he's like, you're stalking this couple. Like, I live in a small village. I've got no idea what's going on with like people going to pubs and things because I don't have a car. I've got no idea like who can hang out where. It's one of the things I think that I was quite frustrated by because I was so reliant on parents to get me anywhere. And yeah, anyway. I let the deputy head of sixth form have his rant about how I'm this weird stalker. And obsessed with this girl and my ex-boyfriend. Which I'm internally finding hilarious. But looking back on it, good God! Like, no, I'm clearly in the early stages of depression and anxiety and oh my God, that could have been a real turning point. But no, they decided that clearly my self-hatred was externalized and based on this woman who thought I was throwing darts at pictures of her. And I'm not sure why they thought I was a stalker. Because, like, literally, these people lived half an hour away in the car from me, which was about, I think it was an hour on the bus. The bus that, I should point out, went once a week. And, yeah, anyway, this happened. Anyway, I let the deputy head of sixth form keep going, and internally I'm just like some amused fucking teenager. And I'm like, I don't understand, sir. And he was like, well, the cake in the fridge is inappropriate. And I'm like, but what's that got to do with the people? It's for my English class and they're not in my English class. And he's like, what? Right. Oh, yeah, no, sorry, I forgot a key point. The girl that I was supposedly stalking or obsessed with or something had the same name as the girl in my English class whose birthday was the day before or the same day as the guy. And they, more importantly, because there were a lot of girls with that name, more importantly, they had the same shortening. So you know how people go with the same long name or the same shortening or whatever. Oh no! Was there a scheduled stream? Oh shit. YouTube usually messes up scheduled streams. Sorry, dude. I'm in the middle of telling bizarre stories about Teenage Mish. Anyway, so yeah, they had the same shortening first name. So it said, Happy Birthday Penny on it. I don't know why I'm trying to protect identities at this point. You know, and hilariously enough, and so I'm like, but this is for my English class. No one's ever complained before. They aren't in my English class. It's for this person. Anyway, somebody needed, I can't remember exactly what happened. Somebody had basically damaged the cake at this point. I think her birthday must have been the day before his, because I actually managed to whip up a second cake. And the guilt or whatever it was essentially made them avoid me for like ever after. Because clearly I was demanding an apology or something. I don't know if maybe the deputy head of sixth form said they needed to apologise. Because I am fairly sure I never got an apology nor asked for one. But it's very weird. It was mostly I interspersed being very ill during the sixth form with really upsetting people without really understanding that I was upsetting them or getting why they were upset. For such is the life of a Mish. I can't remember what got me onto that one there. Sorry guys, apparently random digressions is the order of the day. Right, let's get the special bake on, which today is lovely, lovely rabbit again. And we've got a normal lemon sponge going into here, and lemon sponge, here we go, with chopped up strawberries. And I'm hoping that this will cook rather well and be incredibly delicious. And then I'm going to move on to, what am I moving on to? I've got a list which I will look at in a second. I think I might move on to making pastry for the chapumple, which is not very exciting to watch, I have to admit. I've just realised, Paul, are you watching this? Because I said I fancied a natter with you after I'd finished my stream, and you're just checking when I finish. Is that what's going on here? Oh, I mean, it makes sense, but I'm like, you don't normally watch. No. Oh, okay. Paul, incidentally, is my go-to person when animal legislation is getting hysterical on Twitter. And I'm like, all right, is this me just being reactionary and going, this seems bad? Or is that genuinely something shitty going on? Right. So my plan here is to make this quite a nice. I did wonder about making this a blondie, but then because this is a lactose-free, gluten-free one, I was like, actually, I am not totally confident in my abilities to make this a blondie. Right. So there's that one. Gluten-free come out. This needs to go in. I need to know where I put that tea towel. Alright, so the first two sets of cupcakes look really good. Yes, you are on the list. I know that you, talking to Tabby now, have a tendency to pay me late, so I was expecting you. So yeah, I've just finished the 3 loads of gluten-free cupcakes. And you've got 2 different flavours. You've got blueberries and raspberries. And actually, can you check whether, Tabitha, it's all right, I expected you to. You check whether there's extra lactose-free margarine at Lee's house, or I might just have forgotten to order it this time, because I have just gotten through basically all my lactose-free marge. Admittedly, I think I have now finished the lactose gluten-free stuff. Yeah, basically. Okay, so yes, let's move this on. Right. Right, yeah, we're moving on to the funky stuff that is not gluten and lactose free. Move that over here. Tidy up a little bit. I missed your tidying. I might come and get that later after the stream. Or I might buy my own. Because I should be alright. I've just gone through all of it. But to be honest, I've gone through all of the gluten-free needed stuff, I think. So anyway, yes. Right. And this is why maybe I should release an edited video. Because I talk random bollocks. I'm going to wait and do the tea loaves and the chocolate fruitcake to the end because they require a low temperature oven, and I need to get through the cupcakes that need a bit more. Yes, Spa has more butter. It is true. It is very true. Right, okay. So the blueberry muffins and the raspberry muffins of the gluten-free variety are cooked. And we are going to move on to the glutinous and weird. So I'm going to do the angel food cupcake first. And then I'm going to move on to, I'm going to do a Black Forest cupcake. Oh, that's what got me onto my weird tales about my adolescence, isn't it? Black Forest Gatto. and my strange obsession with baking is one of my love languages. It was just so weird because I was having a very different experience to everyone else at high school, who was all presumably focused on their own lives, and clearly, therefore, anything that was going on in somebody else's was actually deeply involved in theirs, because we were all teenagers. And I don't know what that head of sixth form was thinking. Although there's a lot of sort of teachers of that ilk who seem to think that if you're depressed, your instinct is going to be to hit out rather than hit yourself. And I do wonder, because I was talking, I don't know if it's gendered actually, I was talking to somebody about 10 years ago about women's violence, because we, in my hugely anecdotal and very limited experience, seem to turn our violence upon ourselves, whereas people who men seem to, if they're upset, hit outwards, hit other people. I don't know. That could just be me, probably not projecting, but it could just be me sort of having had a very limited experience. Anyway, yeah. Angel food, cupcakes. I do like Sally's baking addiction if you're looking up recipes online, because it's just they all seem very good, or the ones that I've done all seem to work, which is the big one. Of course, as with all recipes online, you have to go through everything. Right, so yes, there's a story about how you make cupcakes, and then some tips, and eventually we'll get down to several hours later what we're doing. Right, okay. So I want to whisk egg whites and cream of tartar together until soft peaks form. Yes, and this is why I'm doing something that requires egg yolks later. So first, separate my eggs. Yes. I was like, surely I need to put my pie mixtures on. And like, no, because the egg yolks you are using for the fillings of your pies come from these angel food cupcakes. Or will do, we hope. So, 6. After last month when I was doing the Kia Lapis, the Keiki Lapis, this does not feel like very many at all. And apparently the yolks are going in there and the whites are going in here. Okay. Not sure you thought this through, Mish. Right. Let's get another little bowl. Okay. The yolk. No. White in here. Actually, this is just me being sensible, right? So if I fuck up the division, then I've not ruined an entire bowl of stuff. See, there is method to my madness. Also, I am sorry, Fiona, you were waiting for the scheduled stream to start. The YouTube studio thing is difficult to navigate, or maybe I'm just a bit shit. You're one of my regular viewers, Fiona. Do you want, or at least you seem to be enjoying it, given that you're there, do you want a that's alright. Do you want me to release an edited, like, half an hour video that's polished and doesn't contain me going and randomly wandering off on tangents? Would there be any interest for you in that? Or just really, really not? Because I am in two minds whether to do that or not. But, you know, I'm mostly only doing this because a couple of people are like, I'm really miserable in lockdown, but I find you soothing when you're pottering about the kitchen talking about random crap. Which reminds me, I do need to, like, actually make the effort to socialise with more people. I've got this great thing going on where I have an irregular game on Tuesday evenings. And it used to be weekly, and then the nature of the game changed, and obviously I'm talking about a tabletop role-playing game. And now it's on sometimes weekly, sometimes not, and at random times. But I keep my Tuesday evenings free. And when it's not on, I invite my friend Naomi over to help me with the garden. Because Naomi can do physical things and is quite easy company. Like, I find a lot of the guys who offer to do stuff will, like, I'll give them specific jobs, but it has to be granularly specific. Like, I can't just say, clear that area of rubbish, because they'll hear clear that area and everything will go. Oh, yeah, no, you're not the only one. I have been the comfort friend stream. But yeah, I think putting out an edited video is not really what this is. I'm not trying to teach people to bake. I'm just hanging out with them so they've got somebody to natter with as we pot around the house or whatever you do, whilst I talk at you. So yes, I think that's that. Right, how much cream of tartar did I say I needed? One thing I do like about Dr. Oetker, and I go forwards and back about whether I like Dr. Oetker, because some of the stuff, Dr. Oetker is a brand, by the way. It's not like I'm talking about a specific person. They do this. They do sachets equaling 1 teaspoon. Yes, my YouTube channel will release the Kraken any second. It's just a matter of time. And once the Kraken is out, then I'll go down to Arela and get Cthulhu out. 3/4 of a teaspoon, of course. Yeah, 1 sachet is 1 teaspoon, basically, for this, which I love. Of course, this recipe calls for 3/4 of a teaspoon. That's 3/4 of a sachet, so to be honest, fuck it, I'll just put your teaspoon in. I'm not sure whether that was wise, we'll find out. Right, okay, there are the yolks, which are going to be useful when I get to the pies later. I might end up doing the pies after the stream, depending on how long ago and how much fun this is. I love creamy tartar in egg white. It makes whipping them to soft peaks so much easier. So this is a lovely relaxing video of the sound of an electric whip. There we go. Right. Oh my god. Speaking as someone who did the first couple of months of these, do you think I can do it? I'm nervous. Fuck me! Look at this! Oh my god! Okay, so that's supposed to be the test, the thing that you do if you've got egg whites whipped properly. I'm gonna do it one more time because I'm fucking terrified. Okay, this is upside down fucking egg whites that have been whipped into soft peaks. Right, I'm going to stop that because they're now moving around the bowl. Yes! Oh my god, I live in an age of electricity. Yes, no, Dr. Oetker is the brand for you, because they will sell it in pre-prepared sachets. They do it not just with cream of tartar, they do it with baking powder and baking soda and like all the things that you generally need a teaspoon of. Now, in bigger supermarkets, you can also get Dr. Oetker, who having divided up chocolate and cocoa powder and things. I've not seen them doing divided up flour like that, but yeah, it's really useful. I occasionally hate on Dr. Oetker for other things. They're not like problematic as far as I know. I'm talking purely baking rather than political stuff. Right, anyway. Yeah, no, like I couldn't believe I was doing it when I was like tipping it up, but it worked. Yeah, I would have deserved to be laughed at as I cried tears of pain on the kitchen floor. But luckily, I do not deserve to be laughed at. It worked. We're all good. Okay, right, so I have made soft peaks. What am I doing now? Vanilla extract goes in the soft peaks. Then I sift flour into the egg white. And I'm supposed to, because it's hardly any flour. It's very terrifying. How much flour am I using? Half a cup of flour, 3/4 cup of sugar. Yeah. Okay, and I'm supposed to sieve it. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. I am unbelievably chuffed about those goddamn eggs. You deserve that fee. They have been plenty stiff and not at all soft. Right. Oh, we've gotten onto the dirty jokes part of the baking stream. Okay, yeah, I'm comfortable here. Right, I'm going to whisk in some vanilla extract. And it tells me just to use one, but I'm going to use two. Mostly because I'm putting in fruit, so I want this to have a definitive fresh flavour. Do I want to do it again? Am I going to do it again? Oh, don't know. Yeah, okay. I'm not doing it again. It's wobbling too much. I'm still well chuffed about those fucking eggs. Like, yes! I did the thing. Oh. So proud! I'm so proud! Like, I did it! Right, how much? Oh yes, it's cup sizes, isn't it? Right. I love my Matryoshkin dolls. I do actually need to set them up so that they matrush properly. Right, and I need to have a look at this rabbit that I am cooking. Shit. It is not rising well. Did I put... Yes, the self-rising flour in. Not rising well, so interesting things may need to occur. We'll figure something out later. Right, that is happening. 3/4 of a cup and a half a cup, isn't it? Okay. 3/4 of a cup and half a cup, I think. 3/4 of a cup and half a cup. I am a genius who remembers what she's talking about. Maybe. Right, 3/4 a cup, half cup. So that is a third. That is 2/3. That is not what I'm looking for. That is a cup. It's 3/4 of a cup. And that is a quarter, but 2 quarters make half. So all good. Oh, and that is a half. Okay, so I'm going to pop that there, pop that there. And I have Matryoshkin. Really love these. Very useful. Okay, 3/4 of a cup when it comes to sugar. Basically at this point using the sieve like it's a sugar grater. It's probably not brilliant, but you know, it's metal, so quickly happens. Right, now I'm going to remeasure this and see if it is still 3/4 of a cup. I'm going to ignore my fear that my rabbit is not going to rise. All things will happen. All things will be well, and all things will be well. What is it? All manner of things will be well, I think? And all manner of things will be well. I'm not sure where I'm quoting from. It's clear it's in my head. I have a feeling it's some sort of ritual text, maybe? I'm not sure. The other thing that I've been doing on Saturday afternoons has been, not every Saturday afternoon throughout lockdown, is me and a whole load of pagans have been getting together and doing our pagan thing. And that I've been really enjoying. So, there you go. Right, and need a little bit more sugar for it to be 3/4 of a cup. Sugar. All manner of things shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. It's not biblical, is it? It sounds maybe vaguely biblical. Yeah, I think these baking videos, I might do off-chance ones for like charity streams and encourage people to donate, but I think mostly they're good because of the time that we've been at, because it's been lockdown. It's not a thing. Just worked out. I think I can make these gluten-free as well. Oh God, yeah, sure. I'll send you an invite to the Discord. I'm really surprised that you don't have it. It's mostly old members of Pagan Stock, to be honest, and a few newbies. Oh, okay. So it is Christian then, Julian of Norwich. What's it mean? Why is it in my head? Yeah, I'm going to make these angel food cupcakes gluten-free because I can. And then that gives gluten-free people something exciting as well. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you might recognise a few people on there. She says, yeah, you will recognise a few people on there. It's just a Discord server, and we've been getting together and doing things on a Saturday afternoon. Like I said, not every Saturday. Obviously not this Saturday, but last Saturday we had a solstice ritual, which is quite good. We've done a number of remote rituals and online stuff. We are trans inclusive, or we try to be. She says. Sorry, that's funny because of the idea of us being trans inclusive, when what I should really be saying is my nice trans friends try to be cis inclusive. Sorry. I do often end up being the token cis person. Yeah, which is occasionally weird when I step out into the rest of life, which is just shitty. Oh my God. So, I think I am a rare cis person who gets to experience transphobia on occasion. When I'm picking up my girlfriend's estrogen, quite a few months ago actually, the pharmacist was vaguely chatting me up. Now, I'm in a mask, so presumably it's not obvious to see that I am reasonably old. But what I really think cinched the deal for that one was that I was collecting a prescription for somebody who has a doctor title because their method of flirting was all about oh, what's your doctoral thesis and blah 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 blah. And it's just easier a lot. I pick up a lot of people's prescriptions, so, and I find that pharmacists get weird if they realise you're picking up the prescription for somebody else. So I just answer questions and don't make it hugely obvious. Actually, I am picking up a prescription for somebody else entirely. So, what's your doctoral thesis in? Oh, computer science, because that's what hers is in. And not doing a huge thing. Anyway, as soon as he looked and saw that I was picking up estrogen, suddenly all the flirting stopped. Fucking twat. But the other one, it was the last time I went to pick up estrogen. And it was just fucking ridiculous because he looked at different pharmacists. No flirting this time around, presumably gauged my age correctly. And he looked at the prescription and then he was just staring at my fucking tits. And it was like, what? And it was, oh my fucking God. You're trying to work out if I grew these on fake estrogen, or fake estrogen sounds wrong, but, pill form estrogen. And it's like, mate, the fuck? So, yes. Transphobia, it's real out in the fucking real world. And it sucks. Right, so that is, that's angel food cake, isn't it? It is so easy to make. It's just weird. Right, okay, so what I'm doing with the angel food cake is I'm going to spoon that into liners first, and then I am going to put the chopped fruit onto it, because this is incredibly light. The chopped fruit is going to sink like a motherfucker. Word that always used to make me think of Samuel L. Jackson, but now, or possibly as a result of the fact that I'm saying it when faced with excessively bright colours, makes me think of Nicki Minaj. And if you have not come across the just astounding track Starships, you should. And that goes double if you haven't seen the absolutely mad fucking video, which is fucking genius. Bitch. Fucking bitch with your child boobs. I don't know if you've noticed, but mine are sinking. But anyway, yes. Boobs are a thing. Boobs are a thing that pharmacists are curious about. Things I have learned. I know TIL stands for Today I Learned, but I often, in my head, I read it as Things I Learned. It's like LOL. Somebody, I'm sure, when I was a teenager told me it was lots of love, rather than laugh out loud. So occasionally, I've never done anything as bad as the urban legend of the woman who sent out condolence texts signing LOL. Because really, would you genuinely do that and do an acronym in the middle of a your aunt died text? I don't know. Maybe people would. But it's one of those weird things. You're like, you can kind of see how, if not it happened, how somebody wrote this urban legend or spoke this urban legend, because it sounds like the sort of thing that could happen. Just about. Right. The angel food cupcakes are looking fucking genius. I am very happy with them. Like I said, they're surprisingly easy to make. I don't know. I think next time I make them, I might not actually need the recipe. I think I might have them in my head enough that I've got the 442 down, because it's not weighing them. It is 6 egg whites, 3/4 sugar, 1/2 flour, and flavouring. So yeah, which is vanilla and, in this instance, some fruit. I cannot remember why it was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do fruit as my thing. That's right. Mind you, I did vanilla the other month, and that's quite a dull one. So, see, this is the other thing I think that releasing an edited video would not capture the randomness of Mish's train of thought. Or maybe it would, as we do a jump cut to something that Mish thinks is entirely connected, and the audience is going, huh? What? Wait? Huh? Maybe it's only me who thinks that's hilarious, I don't know. God, this stuff is so weird. Okay, so yeah, I think I can get about 6 cupcakes out of that rather than another 12. Because I'm delicately spooning mixture between these things. I don't know what it's going to be like when I add. There we go. Yeah. The fruit, but we will find out in a sec. Okay. So what fruit was I going to put in here? I suspect it was going to be strawberries. Because strawberries and angel food seem to go together quite well. And these are gluten-free, which means that my gluten-free people can enjoy these. Some of these, so they've got a bit of variety in things that I am giving them. Right. So yeah, I'm popping the strawberries on top because I have this feeling that they're going to sink. And that way, if it's the last thing I do, it's a bit like when I add the frozen marzipan, not meringue, to my tea loaves. It just means that it will get a little bit of a more even spread. Or that is the aim. We will find out if that in fact works or not. It might be that they just float on top, because that's what they're doing right now. We'll see. I'm always quite curious about adding fruit to things, and I think that's largely what I've ended up doing with these bakes for Sans. Just been going, oh no, I know how to do the basic. Let's see how do I do the interesting thing, the new thing. So it's been quite funky. It's definitely been good learning. And I can feel like I'm doing it for a good reason. I think. Right. Oh, okay. Well, assuming that this isn't Mandela effect, because it totally could be, but then anything could be. Maybe people did use it as lots of love for a bit, and then laugh out loud sort of gradually became the preeminent meaning. Because I just thought somebody had told me wrong, or I had potentially misunderstood something, or got the wrong end of the stick, which is often a thing that happens. So weird. Right, okay. Mandela effect is a very strange thing. But it was so weird because I remember thinking, oh, memory is so weird, or how come I think that, for me, it's the fact that the Bush twins are A, twins, and B, actually George Bush's daughters. Because I'm sure I remembered them A, just being sisters, not twins, and B, being his nieces. And it was just like, am I passing through some sort of parallel reality where this was the case, but I've stepped somewhere else, and this is no longer the case, and that's why my memory is weird. And no, actually, it turns out that the human memory is this weird little fallible bollocks ass thing that just fills in blanks that aren't particularly important with incorrect data, which is moderately terrifying, I will give it that. Yeah. Right, so the angel food cupcakes are almost done, and they happen to be gluten-free because it's nice and easy to do. They are full of the egg, but it just means that that's 3 types of cupcake for my gluten-free lot. And of course, people who aren't gluten-free can eat it. It's not like, it's going to cause a hassle. So just gives people a few more options and a bit more variety, which I like to do, especially when you've got dietary restrictions. Like, it's an arse to have to be going, oh well, I better eat the boring shit, or I can't have this, that, and the other, so I'm stuck with. Of course, this doesn't really apply if your dietary restrictions are down to IBS, because you're like, no, please keep it boring. Don't give me anything too exciting. My stomach can't handle this. No, this is not the way to enjoyment, Mish. Stop. But yeah. But if your dietary restrictions are down to like allergies or celiacs or whatever, then you're like, I'm fed up of eating the boring. What is the interesting that I can have, please? What are you telling me, Fiona? What, Sex and the City? And just to clarify, that was Sex A-N-D, the city. I assume with the character Carrie Bradshaw. However, I'm aware I might be out of date. But yeah, if you mean Sex and the City, then I quite liked watching that on Thursday nights in my second year of university with my very gay housemate, whose wing woman I was to a number of very dodgy fucking dates in the dodgiest of gay bars in Lancaster, called the Navigation. There you go. I'm sure. Okay, I thought it was Sex and the City, because that's the name of her column, the real Carrie Bradshaw, not Sarah Jessica Parker. But I am entirely prepared to be wrong. Wow. Okay. This has not brilliantly risen, and I might have left it in slightly too long. Okay, we will adapt to that later. Okay. There we go. I know that I've had to correct people before now because it sounded like I was saying Sex in the City, but that's because I have the northern habit of not sounding the D at the end of the and. Sex in the City. Oh, it is. Okay, good. Well, I am not most people, obviously. My familiarity with Carrie Bradshaw's work. Also, I took bollocks. Okay. Right, I've just dropped my list on the floor. So what's next? What is next? Yeah, I've not come across that one with the Mandela effect. What have I come across? I mean, my personal Mandela effect is the Bush twins. God, I'm sure there was something else. There's like the Bernstein Bears and stuff that I didn't even know existed, and the famous ones. But yeah, it's yeah. It's when you get into conspiracy theories about the Mandela effect that life gets weird, or weirder, I suppose. Right, okay, so what have we got next? Oh, okay. Next, I think I am doing the Black Forest cupcake. Okay, so butter and sugar. Okay, and it's actual butter this time, so we are well out of gluten-free territory and into not gluten-free, not dairy-free. Okay. And am I cubing this? No, I think I'm cubing this with something else. So 4.5 ounces of butter. Okay. Right. I'm getting quite good at, what she says, judging. Unless I tell people that I'm getting quite good at judging the measurements of things like butter, which I did cock up there, but previously I've gotten it right, which is good, nice. Okay. Right. Okay, so butter, sugar, 6 ounces of caster sugar. I'm going to do my little thing here because that was really useful. By thing, I mean I am going to use this sieve to grind my caster sugar to make my bread, which is not a Julian of Norwich quote. There's an angry giant quote. Incidentally, people who like folky horror things and podcasts, Old Gods of Appalachia, or Appalachia, I'm not sure what the correct pronunciation is very, very good. However, I was talking to somebody and they were like, oh, it's very, very local. I'm like, yeah, it's fully based on Appalachian locality and the horror of the familiar for the people who are creating it. They're like, oh yeah, no, I can't get a handle on it. I'm not that familiar with Appalachian folklore. Obviously, I'm European, so why would I be? And it was at that point that I became very aware of the effect of Silver Ravenwolf on mainstream Wicca. Or maybe I should say, Llewellyn, look what you have brought. Because, I mean, yeah, I was probably more of a fluff bunny as a teenager than I realised. And a lot of what Silver Raven Wolf was writing about for Llewellyn under the guise of Wicca drew on notably the Pennsylvania Dutch sort of traditions. So think Blair Witch, the Pennsylvania Dutch. But there's a lot of stuff in Old Gods of Appalachia about granny witches and bits and pieces that they reference that I find familiar enough, largely due to reading a lot of things in the Mind, Body, Spirit section of Waterstones growing up. Because, you know, Llewellyn were just publishing things that would sell. And for a long time, Wicca had this, or at least in the 90s, Wicca had this mega generic, it just means witchcraft thing. And, of course, it does just mean witchcraft, but it does mean a really specific drawing on the folklore of Europe, which does have some overlap, quite a lot of overlap with literature, as drawn together by Gardner. Yeah, apparently I'm talking like it's pagan sock today. But like it's I'm just gonna am I? No, I'm not. But yeah, Silver Raven Wolf, you know, wrote generically about what she understood witchcraft to be. Ended up adding in, to my understanding, a whole load of stuff that came from Pennsylvania and has some more cultural overlap with Appalachia than I think if I was being strictly what's the word? Strictly like by the book, I guess. I don't know. But what I really find interesting is it just lends credence to my argument of, yeah, Wicca went out there over to America and came back, and it pisses off a whole load of traditional Wiccans, I guess. But I don't know, there's a lot of different ways to approach the religion and the practice and stuff, and I think it still gets to be called Wicca. And I've been allowed to practice with traditional Wiccan covens, and they're happy enough that it's Wicca that I practice. So sure, maybe I'm not allowed into like the super secret gatherings, but I think I'm good with that, you know? Okay, so that's the creamed butter and sugar. Alright, I think this is going to get very nice smelling at some point. Oh, looks like we've got an additional viewer. Hello, additional viewer. I don't know who you are. Right, okay. Then we've got flour and cocoa powder. 7 self-raising flour, 2 cocoa powder. It's all good. 7 self-raising flour, 2 cocoa powder. Right. And this is for the fairies that left me the note this morning. They might have names that I actually had to find out via Facebook. So. Okay, there There we go. Yeah, I find this one a bit of a weird one because it doesn't have a nice obvious ratio that you can remember. There we go. And 2 of cocoa powder. But hey ho, there you go. So yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to memorise this that used to be my signature bake. It is no longer really. Okay, there we go. And I am going to mix that in a bit before I whisk it because the cocoa powder with the whisk is just going to shoot up. Whereas if I mix it a bit, it's not going to. And in fact, I might actually get the eggs in here before I get into that. But we will find out. Okay. Right. Hello, Chaos Magician. Yeah, well, half of pagans are Chaos Magicians or self-identifiers as Chaos Magicians. Then we've got milk and melted chocolate, and of course, I have not melted the chocolate, so that's what I need to be doing. So my little homemade bain-marie, because I don't think I've ever come across a real one. Let's boil the kettle. Okay. Oh, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm aware that bain-marie exists. Like, they're clearly a real thing. But I have never, I've only ever made a fake one with a saucepan and a bowl and melting chocolate. I'm sure there must be advantages to the real thing. Probably. I don't know. Maybe they're slightly more useful, but I do not know what they are. I have no idea. Yeah, I generally get on well with Wiccans unless they're very, very ceremonial, which is always weird. Right, there we go. Okay, we've got that. At some point I need to melt chocolate for the chocolate fruitcake that I'm doing later, because I quite enjoy chocolate fruitcake. Right, so I'm halfway through that and have discovered that I need to melt some chocolate to add to it, but I had forgotten, so I haven't done this in a while. Okay, so what other things can I be doing that would be useful? What else is on the list? I could probably line the tea loaf tin, work out what tin I'm going to put the chocolate fruitcake in, that sort of thing. I might do the tea loaf as less of a loaf shape sure. Chocolate fruitcake can go into a cake tin. I think the tea loaf works best if it's in a loaf. I could do with some smaller loaf tins and things, because I love having the big oven, which incidentally I have instead of a wedding dress. Dad, I'm not getting married. You know that wedding dress fund? Well, I need an oven. Ta-da! But in order to make the best use of it, what I could really do with is multiple little tins instead of being expected to. I don't get the most efficient use out of it because I'm lacking some tins, basically, is what I am struggling over saying. Very ridiculous way. So yeah, that should be something I look out for at Christmas, maybe. Little tins that I can cook multiple small things in that lovely oven wedding dress. Yeah, so have you got a new group then in London? Do you do much in the way of group work? Are you just solo? Are you just solo, says the head rich. What's going on with you and paganism then, Fee? Because up here, the pandemic seems to have there seems to have been a bit of a renaissance in, yes, pagan sock, we know how we do the thing. Which has been fun, but we really are, it's really, really pagan sock. It's just, okay, we missed this apparently. Let us do the thing. Yeah. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, no, it's really easy to lose touch with your practice, especially if you've been used to having a group to sort of just hang out with and do the thing with. Yeah, which I think is why a lot of us have been enjoying the virtual paganness. I was thinking about suggesting, because it's just a Discord server, and I was thinking about suggesting on the server that next Saturday we do some pagan crafting things, where basically we put ourselves on chat, video or audio or whatever, or just text, and put ourselves on chat and craft things, and it's a vaguely pagan space, but it's not an ornate or specific things. Okay, interesting. I don't know. I've never had much trouble when it comes to believing, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, there's definitely a psychological mindset. But then that seems like chaos magic is quite useful for that, because it's not exactly, oh, this is literally happening to me. It's more, this is a mask that I adopt, from what I understand. Yeah, no, it's really good fun, and it's really chill, the pagan crafting sessions, because you're just like, yeah, I'm doing my own craft, and we're talking about vaguely pagan things. So when we started doing this, we got into, because a lot of this is based around Wicca, because I've been organising it. So I've been like, well, if other people want other things, they need to do it. I'm looking at providing something that is generically pagan enough that people can feel like they can join in, but is still authentically me. So there's some gods and goddesses and whatnot. When we started, we were like, oh, we're in the middle of a plague. Let us involve Bridget in our stuff. She's a goddess of healing, and some of the people on the server were familiar with her. So we've been involving Bridget. We've done a lot with the sort of Celtic deities and myth cycle and the Mabinogi and stuff like that. We've so the Green Man. No gods, no masters. Okay. Yeah, that's all cool. I like working with gods, so that is they have been making an appearance. Right, I need 4 fluid ounces of milk and the chocolate. Okay. And so we've been working with Bridget and the Green Man as an amalgam of the two the dual gods. This is like very Wicca based, and we've been, like I said, we've been using a lot of Mabinogi stuff. So we've got some Celtic people in there, and a few months ago we got how many fluid ounces of milk did I say I needed? A few months ago, 4. We got really into Ellen of the Ways. Ooh, yes, what Tabby said, that. Because Tabby's got more thing about chaos magic than I do. Because I am not a chaos magician. Some Wiccans might not think I'm Wiccan. I am. But I'm definitely not really a chaos magician. But yeah, so Ellen of the Ways has been showing up as well. She's very interesting. So I would imagine, and we did a big Fae summer solstice ritual. So that's been quite good too. There we go. So that's 4 ounces of that. And then some milk. Not milk. This is melted chocolate. This is not milk. They're 2 very different things. Okay. I do like having a fluid ounce measurer, actually. That is very useful. Almost as useful as my Matryoshka dolls. Almost. My Matryoshka dolls are, I think, one of the... My Metamol gives me amazing Christmas presents. Okay. It's good. What are you lot chatting about? Ooh, Gods and Radicals. I'm interested. Yeah, my Matamol got me a fantastic yoga mat bag as well. seriously rocking Christmas presents. I would say what I'm planning on getting them for next year's Christmas present, but this is a YouTube video going out online. I have no idea if Tabby is listening to it with speakers. I suspect not, because, Horrifully is one of the, what have we got, five people? I can't read this distance. Oh, 6 people, okay. Who are watching, so I won't. But I've got a rocking idea for your Christmas present this year. And I'm like, yeah, there've been some good presents. And I am probably distracting the serious pagan chat going on in the comments section, so I will try not to. But I am hugely interested in a book or published work called Gods and Radicals, because that sounds interesting. This is an interesting texture to work with, but yeah, this looks like, I remember the weird texture of Black Forest Gatto looking, because it's just such a strange mix of things, and it's really thick and dark. So hopefully this will work as a cupcake, because I've not made these in cupcake form before now. I've only made them as big cakes. Right, so we've got that. Yeah, okay, so how many eggs? 2 eggs. Oh, it's really crumbly and a weird sort of texture. And very thick. There's the 2 eggs that I need. Oh, there we go. But yeah, these really are binding it together. It's such a weird ratio of fats and solids and things. Yeah. I should probably have waited to add the eggs before using the electric whisk, so as not to throw crumbly thing everywhere. Let's see. That's a much more usable texture that we're getting there. Let's see. It is incredibly thick. I love it. Okay. And then I think this is just going to be a matter of scooping it into bun cases, and then I've got sort of maraschino cherries and things. I might try and do some sort of fairy cake with it, because I know that the person in question quite likes a fairy cake. Where did I put the tea towel? Right. Okay, the angel food cakes might have been in slightly long. Let's see. I'm not doing so well this week, this month, at keeping to time. So there's some definite over baking going on here. which we will hopefully mask with beautiful icing. Hopefully. Let's see how it goes. I mean, I think it still looks okay. Let's see. Right, we're nearly up to the final chalky cupcakes. Feeling this quite good, and these are the first ones that I need to remember to be careful about because these are the first ones without gluten-free flour. Whereas everything else I've baked up to this point has been gluten-free and or dairy-free. I think they've all been gluten-free and dairy-free actually. Which is pretty good going really. Okay. I'm quite pleased with my ability to make cakes that are gluten and dairy free and not fuss overly. As I said earlier, it doesn't work for everything. Like I'm looking at the weird ratios of this Black Forest Gâteau recipe and thinking I'm not sure I could make that one gluten free without a lot of sort of thought going into it. Just because of I can't work out. I mean, the fat from the skyr and yeah, I don't know if you noticed that the recipe calls for milk. I used skyr because my original recipe way back when used to call for natural yogurt, and there was this real depth of flavour that I'm trying to get. I have no idea if it will work or not, or I might have just made a heinous mistake, but we will see. But it's depths of flavour that fats seem to provide. So I suspect I could probably make it gluten free. Whether I could make it gluten and dairy free, I'm not sure. But yeah, I could probably do this gluten free because the self-raising flour is doing most of the work with the eggs in terms of raising work there. But yeah, it's interesting at any rate. We'll see how it goes. I am tempted definitely to butterfly these, which is what I meant by making them fairy cakes. Because I know some people use fairy cakes to just mean small muffins, or small cupcakes. Whereas when I say fairy cakes, I mean what is often called butterfly cakes. With the whole, you cut out the middle and make wings out of them. I don't know how better to describe them. But the ones with the gooiness of the wings, that's what I mean by fairy. I suppose I should call butterfly. There we go. Okay, not quite enough to do 24. But we've got 20 cakes here, so that's not bad, I think. Right, let's shove these in. Okay. I need to make better use of my timings, I think. Right, so actually set a wrist notification for countdown, and I want 25 minutes. There we go. Okay, we are coming up on having made most of the cupcakes. I think. Let's have a look. Okay, so the chocolate fruitcake. Coconut macaroons. Yep, I think that's all the cupcakes. So I'm going to melt this chocolate in my homemade bain-marie for the chocolate fruitcake. Okay. And then we're going to look at tea loaf, which does not need to be gluten and dairy free. I'm mostly saying that for me rather than anybody else. Okay, so yeah. Then I remember what the heck I'm doing. Okay, we've got that. Yeah, we're almost at an end, really. To be honest, I mean, it's basically 4:45. I think that there's a nice pagan chat going on in my comments. I think I'm probably going to call this stream to an end at this point, because there's not a whole lot of interesting things to watch me bake. It's mostly going to be me waiting on things. Fee, I'll send you that link. Thank you very much, guys, for donating to Sands. We've raised over £500 over the course of 4 months, which has been pretty good. Let me know. There's a comments section which is separate to the live chat section. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do more baking videos to keep you company on afternoons, especially now that this is less necessary because no pandemic. Let me know if anybody would be interested in a more edited and shorter video. I suspect that's not what we're here for, really. But yeah. Right, that is me gone. We've done really good over the past 4 months for Sands. Well done. Pat yourselves on the back. Okay. Bye-bye, guys.